Welcome to the Entrepreneur's Odyssey, the podcast where we explore the highs and the lows of entrepreneurship, featuring the bold and the brave who dare to dream. Every episode, we dive deep into the strategies that work, the challenges that teach, and the moments that change everything. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, these are the insights and experiences you need to fuel your own Odyssey.
Hi, I'm Brandon Moore, and this is another episode of the Entrepreneur's Odyssey. Thanks again for joining us. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us, listening to this podcast. I hope it's going to be a blessing to you. I hope it's going to help you in your business and your journey. The other day, my son and I were coming home from school, or he was coming home from school, and I asked him, what did he learn in school today? And he brought up commissions and how a commission sale was a percentage, and which, that's just them teaching percentages and all that. But it got me thinking about how people sell things, how people use pressure sales, how some other people use certain informative sale like insurance, and how other people become an advisor. And I think with sales, you can be a transactional salesperson, or you can be an advisor salesperson. And today we're going to talk about being an advisor when you're selling your products or services. All right, so being an advisor, what does that mean? Usually when you have the sales process or the buying process, all right, a buyer realizes that they have a problem, they have a need. And so they might do some searching, they might go online and find your product versus other products. They might go to a store and talk to somebody. They might go and talk to a salesperson. In that process, they're trying to determine whether or not your product is going to meet their need. They may have questions on cost. They may have questions on installation. They may have questions, any number of questions to whether or not that product or service is going to work for them. And when you as a salesperson or you as a business owner want to help provide for your clients, you're not wanting to just get them to make that one transaction. You want them to be a client for life. Like when somebody becomes an advisory client, for us, we don't get transactional money. We get a percentage of the assets under management. So when their account grows, then the percentage of that account that gets paid to us grows. And so the incentive then for us is to do a good job. If we help them grow their portfolio, then we get more money in that. So the incentive is tied to the growth. But then it's also not just for that 1 year, one transaction. It's every year that percentage is paid. So when going back to being a salesperson, you don't just want the one transaction. You want to look at every client and look at them as a lifetime income potential. What's the lifetime income potential? If a person goes to buy a car, are they buying a car, just one car from you? They may buy this car. They may tell their cousin or their brother to come buy a car. Or, in 2 or 3 years, when they need another car, they're going to come back to you. And so it's really, you should have a lifetime sales potential mentality with every client, every customer that you approach. What is it to be an advisor rather than just a salesperson? What is it to be an advisor? When the client is in that buying process, you step away from being just a salesman and you start asking them questions. You ask them, so what is it you're looking for? What's the cost area that you're looking for? What's your budget? What is this going to do for you that you can't get done right now? What is the problem that's being solved? And so as you ask questions and you get to know the client, we call this in the financial services business the discovery mode, where we discover the client's needs, we discover who they are, we discover what about them brought them to you in the first place. In the discovery mode, you're discovering a lot of things. You're discovering about your client, about your customer, but you're also discovering whether or not it's going to be a good fit, because your culture and who you are might contrast with the client or the customer, and it may not be a good fit. And during that discovery mode is when you're going to be able to let them know or find that out. if you go right to the transaction, if you go right to the sale, you may create a relationship, because sometimes sales also involves a continuous relationship with service. Like if you sell something that needs to be serviced over time, or you sell a contract where it's a service contract where you're going to be serving going forward. If you don't have the discovery mode, you might commit yourself to a person or a group that may not really have the same values as you, and that would cause contention and cause problems, and you don't want that. Trust me, you don't want that. We've had lots of clients that we just had to say, I'm sorry, that we're just not a good fit, and maybe gave them a referral to someone else. That's okay. That happens. So that first part is the discovery mode, is when you figure out what you can do for the client and what you're offering. Is it going to fit? Is it going to work for them? And if that client and their culture and who they are, does that fit for you as well?
Did you know that Brandon has written not one, not two, but 5 books? A few of them I have right here in front of me in the studio. And we want to invite you, go on Amazon, go to his website, brandonkmore.com, and find the book that best meets your needs today, so you can dive in, get more behind like what exactly happened in Brandon's life. And specifically the E-Hero's Journey is one of my favorites, because it actually gives you his full story of his process. And it's actually very similar to why we named the podcast The Entrepreneur's Odyssey. I do want to encourage you to get the workbook that pairs with it, because it gives you step-by-step information of how to begin this process if you are a new up-and-coming entrepreneur. Along with that, The Beginning of Wealth. Great book for those who are wanting to understand the framework of what it means to think like an entrepreneur and a businessman. So again, go to Amazon. If you do have one of our books, please leave a review on Amazon and our website. We so much appreciate the support for Brandon K. Moore. Thank you.
So then as you get into that process, you turn into this advisor, to where you're not telling them what product to buy or what product you can give them. You're seeing what products can meet their needs. And sometimes that may be, you don't necessarily need what I'm selling, but you might need this, this, and this. And then, okay, maybe part of my product will help you, but what you were looking at was this other product, but what you really need is this and these other things. And so you step out of the role of just a salesman and you become an advisor. And when you become an advisor, then what's happening there? You're building trust. And when you build trust with your clients and your customers, they will come back to you. They'll come back to you over and over again, and they'll send and they'll refer other people to you as well. So what is that process? So the first is have a discovery part, have a discovery point or a discovery meeting, a discovery point where you can figure out if that client works for you. And then you shift over into that advisory mode, to where you can figure out and really advise and prepare a plan for the client to meet their need. And then as that trust builds, then you form a partnership. And then you're not necessarily the outside vendor, you're partnering with them to help their business or help their family in any way that they need. Can it be called sales anymore? I don't know. I used to, when people called me a salesman, I would say, no, I'm not really a salesman. I don't sell products. I advise. I'm an advisor. When as a CPA, as a financial advisor, I don't really care if somebody buys from me. I want to see them prosper. I want to see them be blessed in everything that they do. And if you keep a transactional mode, what that does, what happens when you have a transactional philosophy? Then you're going to be competing. You're going to be competing on price, and you're going to have to be competing on volume, because when you have a transactional mentality, then you have to have a lot of transactions to continue and to have the income that you need to survive, or you need for your business. And so the differences between the advisor mode and the transactional mode are pretty big. When you also, as a transactional salesperson, then what you're selling becomes a commodity. And that means that that other people's products will compete directly with yours, and so you really have to offer something different. And you don't want to compete on price, and you don't want to compete on volume, because then everybody's limited by time. We're all limited by resources, and time is one of the biggest resources limits that we have. Being an advisor versus being transactional. Being an advisor, you discover your client, you discover what their needs are, you discover who they are, their values, and compare them to your values. And once you then make that decision that they're going to be a client, then you shift over and become an advisor. And you prepare a plan for them, you look to see what other solutions might fit, whether it's with your company or with somebody else's. And then after becoming an advisor, once they choose to purchase with you, then it's a partnership. And then that partnership is a long-term relationship. So implementing the advisory process of sales into your business is really important. It will change the way you see yourself as a purveyor of your business. Instead of just trying to rack up sales, instead of just trying to see people as dollar signs, then you actually have that servant's heart, to where you're trying to serve those people and see what the best solution for them will be. All right, do you see that? I hope that'll help you. I hope that in the future you'll be able to become the advisor that your clients need. You'll be the advisor that they'll look to, that they'll trust and partner with for a very long time. Thanks again for watching the Entrepreneur's Odyssey. Again, I'm Brandon Moore. Give us a share. I appreciate you. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us on the Entrepreneur's Odyssey. We hope today's journey has left you inspired and ready to push the boundaries of what you thought was possible. Make sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Don't forget to rate and review us, and share this episode with someone who could use a little inspiration on their entrepreneur journey. Join us for more insights and stories. Until then, keep chasing your dreams and write your own Odyssey.